Aviation experts claim the missing Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 may have been hijacked by an experienced pilot.
239 passengers and crew, most of them Chinese, were lost in 2014.
Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 disappeared from radar in 2014, leaving behind no debris, no distress signal, no farewell. 239 lives and a Boeing 777 seemed to vanish into thin air as if they had never appeared in the sky that day. Nearly a decade and a half has passed, yet the haunting question remains unanswered. Where exactly is MH370? Hundreds of search missions, thousands of theories, and all led to dead ends. Until one unmanned device silently deployed in the ocean suddenly discovered something unimaginable. The aircraft had been hidden precisely at this location for the past 11 years. And it was that very location that rendered every tracking system unable to detect it. After more than a decade submerged in the depths of the ocean, flight MH370 may have finally been revealed, not by radar, not by debris drifting ashore, but by a fleet of unmanned underwater vehicles and two haunting coordinates that are sending shockwaves through the global investigative community. The first coordinate, released by veteran aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey, is at 29.128 degrees south, 99.934 degrees east, nearly 1,500 kilometers off the western coast of Australia. But what shocked the experts was not just the location, it was how he discovered it, by analyzing radio wave interference signals using the WSPR method, a technique once dismissed as eccentric, unrealistic, and unreliable. And yet now that underestimated technology is opening a path toward the final destination of the ill-fated flight. The second coordinate, roughly 400 kilometers south of the first, was identified by oceanographer Dr. Vincent Line. No radio waves, no radar systems. He followed the water. From the drift patterns of debris found in Madagascar to the seabed formations capable of trapping heavy objects, Line believes that site to be the true burial ground of the missing aircraft. But that part of the ocean is not just a blank spot on the map. It is a realm of death, frozen, silent, and bottomless. A depth of more than 6,000 meters, 5 times deeper than the average ocean depth, lies beyond the reach of any detailed chart we currently possess. No shipping routes, no radar, no human presence. Pressure strong enough to crush steel darkness, as dense as concrete, and temperatures near freezing that can disable even the most advanced machines. Worse still, the seafloor in this area is a geological labyrinth. Giant cracks, knife-like chasms, ancient dormant volcanoes, and thick layers of seabed sludge capable of burying all evidence within days. Scientists have dubbed it the Bermuda Triangle beneath the ocean floor. But now that secret is gradually being unraveled thanks to a campaign more daring than anything seen before. Behind it stands Ocean Infinity, the renowned team known for deep-sea exploration missions in extreme conditions. This time, they brought more than just robots. They brought a condition: no discovery, no payment. A gamble worth tens of millions of dollars exchanged for one single chance to find MH370. The operation hinges on the Armada 7806, a 78-meter-long unmanned vessel functioning like a floating brain in the middle of the ocean. Surrounding it are fleets of AUV diving robots silently navigating the depths, equipped with ultrasonic sonar mud, penetrating sensors, magnetometers, and 3D imaging radar. But the most striking innovation lies in a device never before deployed in real missions: the Blue Eye Pi. Originally designed to study deep-sea microorganisms, Blue Eye Pi has now evolved into a biological eye capable of detecting buried aircraft remains. It doesn't rely on light or sound, but instead smells microbial disturbances in the seabed. Because when a large object like an aircraft lies buried beneath it, creates a biological dent, a microbial zone drastically different from the natural seabed. Once Blue Eye Pi's sensor touches that area, the signal is instantly triggered. Ocean Infinity didn't stop there. They also deployed Aether 7, a specialized underwater unit dubbed the Liquid Spy, designed to track microscale sediment whirlpools. By analyzing flow direction and deposition speed, Aether 7 can identify regions that may have swallowed massive objects over the past decade. All data from radar sonar magnetic readings to microbial sensors is funneled back to a command hub where a super-level AI system takes over. This AI doesn't just process the information, it reconstructs the entire descent of MH370 to the ocean floor, from the moment of impact to fuselage rupture to how the currents might have carried the wreckage across hundreds of kilometers, eventually burying it in the geological depths. This latest search zone spans 15,000 kilometer spheres, equivalent to the size of Sydney. But unlike the city, this area is a total void on the map, completely untouched by human or machine. Then, during the very first scan at the intersection between the two suspect coordinates, an unusual signal emerged. Beneath nearly 20 meters of thick sediment, the sub-bottom sonar detected a metallic object over 30 meters long, tilted with an irregular shape and a clear magnetic signature. Blue Eye Pi data revealed severe microbial disruption in the surrounding area, as if a massive object had been resting there for over a decade. Ocean Infinity has not made any official announcement, but a source within the survey team disclosed, "What we've found isn't rock. It's different. It doesn't match any known seafloor formations." Initially, the data showed only a blurred smear distorted by heavy silt and complex seabed terrain. But as scan intensity increased, the image sharpened, a streamlined shape flattened at the front, with a bent or broken rear section. Most notably, one area of the surface bore evenly spaced indentations matching expert descriptions of how a Boeing fuselage deforms on high-speed underwater impact. However, what caused the entire crew to halt operations for an emergency review was not the object's shape, but rather the signal. Just minutes after the magnetometer detected a magnetic anomaly, a series of ultra-low sound pulses was registered, extremely faint, but repeating every 57 seconds. At first, technicians assumed it was acoustic interference from rock layers. But after eliminating all background noise, they realized something staggering. The signal pattern resembled an ELT emergency beacon, the kind installed on every commercial aircraft. The issue: ELT transmitters only emit signals for about 30 days post-crash. So how, after 11 years at a depth exceeding 6,000 meters, could any periodic signal still be detected? A chilling hypothesis emerged. The signal wasn't active, it was delayed. Like an echo trapped in a cave, the original ELT pulse may have been absorbed by deep sediment layers and only now released by the powerful scanning activity. An ancient recording buried beneath the sea finally awakened. Another possibility, bolder and more chilling, has begun to circulate. Could someone have reached this area and disappeared without leaving any trace? But amid all the signals, coordinates, and advanced equipment, there is something even stranger, a gap lasting exactly 3 minutes. The final 3 minutes inside the cockpit of MH370 have never been released. For the past 11 years, the public has only heard one sentence: "Good night, Malaysian 370. What about the rest? No one was told. No one was allowed to ask. Some leaked sources claim that the original recording was analyzed by at least 2 international agencies, and both reached the same decision not to release it, citing global security reasons. But what if it was the pilot calling for help? What if it was proof the plane had been interfered with? Then what exactly is being hidden, and who has the authority to keep it secret from the entire planet? Ocean Infinity neither confirmed nor denied this information. However, they have just taken an unprecedented step in the history of civilian missions. They have halted all live data transmissions from the Armada 7806 vessel to satellite. Instead, all signals are now encrypted and accessible only through an internal system. What is being concealed? And if this truly is MH370, why is the world only now beginning to uncover it after 11 years of silence? Have we been misled for the past 11 years? That's the question echoing across international forums just hours after the deep-sea signal was released. Because if these two new coordinates are indeed accurate, then the entire search area pursued for over a decade from the southern Indian Ocean to the coast of Africa was completely off course. Hundreds of millions of dollars, dozens of survey vessels, and thousands of hours of analysis were poured into a zone located at least 2,000 kilometers away from the newly suggested coordinates. Even more puzzling, those coordinates had already been proposed by an independent investigative group in 2017. Their detailed report was submitted to the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, ATSB, and even to the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. But instead of being considered, it was swiftly dismissed without any clear explanation. The official reply contained only a single line, not consistent with recognized modeling assumptions. Which models? Who defined them? And was the data really dismissed due to a lack of scientific basis, or was something being deliberately suppressed? Some former investigators from the original search team are now speaking out. In an anonymous interview, a former data analyst revealed, "We detected anomalies in the Inmarsat satellite signal, but we were instructed to remove them from the final report because they were deemed irrelevant to the core conclusion. That's why I left the project." If this claim is true, then a more disturbing question must be asked. Who has the power to steer the course of a global investigation? A shocking theory is now spreading that MH370 may have carried something or someone that made the discovery of the wreckage unacceptable. Details about special passengers' sensitive cargo or a last-minute route change had all been rumored, but to this day, everything remains shrouded in a thick fog of silence. For over a decade, every time an independent research group accessed new data that could alter the search trajectory, the same pattern followed. Their funding was suddenly cut. Access to original satellite data was denied without explanation. Several individuals reported that after publishing search maps contradicting the official investigative direction, they began receiving troubling signs. Personal accounts were hacked. Emails were accessed without authorization. Anonymous warning messages were sent from unknown numbers, and in some cases, they believed they were being watched. No one publicly claimed interference. There was no concrete proof, but the shared sense of being silenced was something many independent researchers confirmed. So who is truly controlling the MH370 narrative? That question becomes even more chilling in light of the past 72 hours. Since the underwater signal was detected, the entire region surrounding the suspected coordinates has been placed under temporary movement restriction by the Australian Coast Guard. The stated reason, maritime security exercise. Yet in reality, there had been no prior announcement about such an exercise. No schedule, no advisory, no public documentation. On last night's national news broadcast in Australia, Ocean Infinity's discovery was mentioned for exactly 18 seconds. No reference to the coordinates, no mention of the ELT signal, not a single word about the technologies or detection devices being used. Why, in what may be the most pivotal development in the past 11 years, is the media response nearly silent? Is something being shut down before it ever reaches daylight? Or worse, was MH370 never meant to be found in the first place? Something appears to have been buried deep within the cockpit of MH370, and that may explain why nearly every official report steers clear of discussing it. For years, the world has been directed toward technical failures, human error, or radar coverage gaps. But one particular aspect remains conspicuously absent from most narratives: the critical moments inside the cockpit, right as the aircraft vanished from air traffic control. 21 minutes after departing, Kuala Lumpur MH370 executed an abrupt and unannounced turn, reversing course without notifying ATC. At that exact moment, the ACARS system, which logs flight data and transmits it to the ground, suddenly went offline. Strangely, the system didn't go dark all at once. Its components were sequentially erased in a manner that led technical analysts to suspect intentional interference. Experts immediately raised a critical question. Who had the access and the technical expertise to disable the system with such precision? Only one answer emerged: the pilot or someone who managed to enter the cockpit. Even more troubling, for the past 11 years, a 3-minute audio recording believed to be the final transmission from MH370's cockpit has never been released in full. The only part known to the public is the line, "Good night, Malaysian 370. But what came after that, no one knows, and no one is allowed to ask. Several former Boeing engineers have revealed that MH370 was part of a batch equipped with a dual navigation override system, a mechanism that allows flight control to be transferred from the cockpit to an external center in special circumstances. In theory, this was an anti-terrorism safeguard. But if such a system were abused, what then? One shocking theory that surfaced in 2015 was quickly erased from the internet. MH370 was not hijacked. It was remotely taken over. The person controlling the aircraft was not on board. As the theory spread, accounts sharing the information were abruptly locked. Analytical videos were removed. The original poster vanished from social media. No one brought it up again. No one dared to pursue it further. Then, in 2018, a leaked email from a major European aircraft manufacturer surfaced. It stated that MH370s had been carrying a container labeled "magnetic restricted," special handling required. No airline claimed it. No contents were listed in the cargo manifest. No official documentation existed. What was inside remains unknown. But according to certain technical alerts, that very container may have interfered with nearby navigation systems, even distorting satellite signals. And this may be the ultimate reason why MH370s completely vanished from all tracking systems. The aircraft's equipment was blinded by its own cargo. The critical question is, why was this container never disclosed? Who sent it? And why did all records related to that shipment disappear immediately after the crash? If MH370 did indeed go down at the site, ocean infinity is now approaching, and if the fuselage is recovered, then this would be more than just the resolution of a missing flight. It would be the unsealing of a truth too large, too dangerous to ever be allowed into the light. Thus, the issue isn't merely locating wreckage. It's about what comes next, the potential unraveling of a meticulously orchestrated cover-up spanning 11 years. And what's most disturbing, no one dares to speak about it openly. Some independent experts, after analyzing MH370's disrupted signal structure, proposed a chilling possibility that the container not only caused interference, but may have emitted its own signal. An encrypted intermittent transmission not intended for civil air traffic control, but to report location to a completely separate control system. If true, the container wasn't cargo at all, it was a concealed military device. Also, in 2018, an internal transcript leaked from a private meeting of the European Union Aviation Safety Agency EASA in Brussels stated a warning was raised regarding MH370 carrying equipment capable of multi-layer satellite disruption. But the note was requested to be removed from the minutes to prevent global panic. So who could request the deletion of such a warning, and why in ordinary air crashes cargo manifests are made public within days? But in the MH370 case, the list was sealed for over a year, and when it was finally released, several pages had been blurred or blacked out entirely. Many investigators suspect the data wasn't missing. It was censored under direct instruction. Another question now rattling the global aviation security community: was the container linked to a third party? Not the airline, not the Malaysian government, but an international entity capable of manipulating flight data and civilian satellite networks. If MH370 was indeed redirected or misled because of that cargo, then what lay inside that metal box didn't just jam signals. It may have altered the entire course of the flight. And that is why it took 11 years for the world to search in the wrong direction. Today, all eyes are fixed on the coordinates where Ocean Infinity is conducting its mission. Not out of hope, but out of fear. that if the container is found and brought to the surface, its contents will never be revealed. Or worse, buried forever. After 11 years lost in darkness, MH370 remains one of the greatest mysteries in modern aviation history. But for the first time, new signals from WSPR radio interference data ocean current models to artificial intelligence analysis are all converging on a specific location beneath the Indian Ocean. A completely new search operation has now been launched equipped with the most advanced deep-sea technology humanity has ever deployed. The area where MH370 is believed to have fallen lies thousands of meters deep, a labyrinth of underwater chaos where light cannot reach and all traces may vanish within hours. But this time, with deep diving drones, multi-layered sonar, and an AI-driven floating command center, we may finally be closing in on the truth. If what the instruments are detecting proves to be real, then the world won't just be recovering a missing aircraft. It will be reclaiming justice, reclaiming the truth, and perhaps closing a painful chapter that has haunted us for over a decade. This time, hope is no longer a theory. It's beginning to take shape, one signal at a time, one trace at a time beneath the ocean floor. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss our upcoming content. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. We're always listening. Thank you for watching. And please note the information in this video is based on analysis and interpretation from various independent sources. We encourage you to consult additional materials to form a fuller and more objective perspective.